I'm Hermene Hartman, and I want to welcome you to NDIGO Studio. We've got some special guests for our living room today. We're going to talk about politics of now, politics of today. Headlines, they change absolutely every single hour. And the rhetoric, well, it's louder than ever before. And the nation seems caught between transformation, turmoil, is it change? What is it? So joining me are some of the sharpest journalists covering the political front line, voices who help us make sense of the chaos. They write about it, they think about it, they talk about the characters, and they look at the consequences. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about what has happened in media, misinformation, social media, and the mood of the American people. What's real, what's spin, and what's next. Politics in real time, through the eyes of those who write the very first draft of history. My guests, they are Curtis Lawrence. He's a former journalist with the Chicago Sun-Times and Block Club. And Darcel Rockett, she's with the Chicago Tribune. They are both award-winning journalists, and we want to hear what they think about today.
NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio.
Welcome to the living room, NDIGO Studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so my question is, where are we in the political world that we live in now, the politics of now? What do you think we are doing? Where are we? Good place, bad place, change in place? Where are we?
I think we're, at least, I don't know, I say we as in the collective, Chicagoan citizen, taxpayer, are just in an ambiguous kind of, not limbo, but like we don't necessarily know, the ebbs and flows were what's the next thing that's going to jump out and do, the jump scare. So I think just because, and again, we're in uncharted territory at the moment. So I want to say that's where I'm at the moment. I don't know if I'm speaking for all of Chicagoans.
I know,
but
because you don't know what to write about. Should I do this or should I do that? And then something happens, and should I dance? What do you think, Curtis?
I think it's just, for many of us, it's a state of chaos right now in our neighborhoods with ICE and Homeland Security, especially for Black and brown people. But we're seeing that this impacts everyone. Recently, the Homeland Security people went into this daycare up on the north side, right, and went into the daycare to apprehend this woman and
a teacher.
And yeah, a teacher. And so they're seeing this uproar. The cardinal is getting involved. The clergy community is getting involved. So this is impacting the whole city, this chaos that started in January from a national
So
perspective.
Before we got started on camera, you were telling me about something that happened yesterday in front of the Beam with the Homeland Security.
Yeah, Block Club Chicago, where I formerly worked, which has done a great job of covering ICE and the developments here. So Colin Boyle, their photographer, was out there at like 6 o'clock in the morning. They came out and were posing for pictures in front of the Beam and shouting out things like, little village, like they're in this conquering state of mind. When Bovino, who is leading the charge in the city, noticed that there was a journalist there, he told his people to mask up, so they put their mask on. And it just shows, how, thuggish they have been here. Is terrible. The only good news is we recently heard, you guys reported, the Tribune reported that hopefully they're leaving soon. That they're soon.
But here you are. This is the thing that really kind of I look at. You're in front of the Beam.
Yeah.
Grant Park, middle of Chicago, shouting Little Village.
Yeah.
And then you put that on social media.
Yeah.
And it's like you have cleaned up Little Village and you're not even there. And a non-Chicagoan may not know that.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the switcheroo, the change, the adjustment, the
Yeah.
manipulation of the media.
I think it's this whole thing of this intimidation is what they're trying to do. They intimidate people.
Scare tactic,
Yeah, scare
fear
and
factor.
intimidate, and yeah, push this fear where people are in some of these communities scared to go to work, scared to go out to get their groceries. The good thing about it, I think, if there's a silver lining, is how these communities are coming together with the whistles. They're you know, we're Chicago, we're not scared
We're
of these
reacting,
people.
we're responding
Yeah.
to it.
Coordinated
And-
efforts.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like we're already, you know, I can't tell you how many people come through Chicago and they're just like, I love this city. There's something about it's a small village, but it's a big city.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows everybody, and you like to think everybody watches over everybody. But this is like, you know, if we thought we were together and coordinated with after, you know, George Floyd's murder, then this for sure is rallying the troops and hopefully strengthening the community ties. So it's a thicker fabric.
Whether you're considering an electric vehicle at work or at home, making the switch may not be as complex or expensive as you think. The tools, resources, and rebates available at ComEd.com/EV make transitioning to an electric vehicle easier and more cost-effective than ever before. Charge into the future at ComEd.com/EV.
I grew up on the South Side. I have friends that are barbers, drivers, musicians. They work on their own. Gigs where you don't have a big employer. It's not easy to get insured. At Get Covered Illinois, we're here to help. Across Illinois, 500,000 people access health care through Get Covered Illinois. That's why open enrollment at Get Covered Illinois is such an opportunity. But it all ends January 15th.
At ComEd, we understand a little help can really make someone's day. That's why we provide financial assistance and billing options to help you pay and manage your electric bill. Use the ComEd Smart Assistance Manager to discover bill assistance and savings options designed with you in mind.
It's not easy to get insurance. At Get Covered Illinois, we're here to help. It's one place where people can compare plans and prices and also get help with their premium. Get Covered Illinois, we're here to help.
Indigo Studio, Indigo Studio, Indigo Studio.
We're media people.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about how the media has changed, how it has responded to the Trump administration. Just recently, BBC, some of the top executives resigned because Trump did not like the edit that they were doing for a documentary. Same thing, this is a repeat of what happened with ABC. He didn't like the edit. And I'm like, how is he seeing these edits? And editing as a part of television is as natural as breathing. I mean, you've got to edit. Everything doesn't go in. It's a time factor, blah, blah, blah. What are you feeling about the media right now?
Same thing. It's just, I think this intimidation tactic, I don't know if people think that, you know, this being, you know, this is still the first year in this term. So they're just like, I don't know how long, you know, we can fight this. I will say, I kind of really was expecting more pushback, more, maybe if it always kind of depends on the first person making the first move. Like if it says like, you can't go across this line, and then they do all they can, and they might like, I don't know people's pockets, but they might have to go or, you know, be sued and go into litigation for the next 4 years. But if that stance is held, then I feel like the subsequent other suits and other people, like ABC, CBS, NBC,
They follow.
Exactly. But now it's just, I feel like everybody's like, well, I just don't know, or what the retaliation might be. So I guess I didn't really expect the media, since I've been in this for so long, to be so nervous. I kind of expected more.
And comply with it.
And comply, yeah.
ABC was, they gave Trump $20 million, and then George Stephanopoulos had to pay out of his pocket $1 million. But these companies had their businesses on the line. I mean, yes, we are reporters and yes, it is the media, but these are also big businesses, and the transactions that they were trying to do were going to be halted or going to be stopped completely if they didn't comply. So
Well,
it's kind of
CBS as well has complied with what they did with Colbert, and that has bled over into the news, the whole 60 Minutes. Then, you know, Trump came after them too because he's an autocrat, and that's your earlier point. That's what they do. I think, though, locally, I've been proud of not only the coverage from the local press, but also several of the media. I believe the Tribune too, and also the Headline Club, which is the SPJ, Chicago chapter of SPJ, has gone to court to stop them from harassing and targeting journalists along with protesters. So they have stood up to this, and I think the journalists have been out there covering what Homeland Security and ICE has been doing. So I think they've done a good job that way.
I think so too. So, new politics. We have seen in our city the resignations of I'm not going to run. We've seen Durbin, he's not running again. Congressman Garcia, not running again. We've seen Bobby Rush, he has retired. And we're seeing Danny Davis. So we're seeing new. What do you think about the new generation of politics versus the old guard?
I think it's a good thing, frankly, that it's forcing people to step up. So we have, in all these races are going to be competitive too. So it's not going to be, for the most part, anyone stepping into office. I mean, it's some of the races recently.
But it's not a natural step into office.
No, it's not. It's
you got to
not,
run.
In most cases, not guaranteed. So I think it's a good thing. We look at things. I say we as I'm going to say people over 50 or so who came up a certain way, and it's time to listen to other voices and let other people take charge. We're always saying we want younger people to be responsible, and that's what I think we see what's happening, not only here, but you talked earlier about New York.
Yeah, we got to talk about New York. What do you think? New generation coming forward.
I'm excited about it. And like you say, I mean, mentorship, like there should be, the proteges passing of the baton. So we do need new blood, but the question is, does the new blood have kind of a semblance of like, instead of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, maybe we should just be all like, instead of maybe doing a 360, maybe I just do a 180 at the moment, get my bearings, and then go,
I'm
a little nervous. Yeah, there you go.
For the reasons that you express. For a new generation to come in, and Congress runs on seniority. That is how it really, really, really works. What about New York? Is that the new Democratic Party? Is that the new Democrat?
I think it's a part of it. I mean, it's definitely a part of it.
And we're talking about the new mayor that was elected.
Mayor Mamdani.
With 2 million votes.
Yes.
They voted.
Yeah.
That's the good news. They voted.
I think people were just fed up. I mean, it's been reported that affordability was an issue, but I also think that it was also like local politics from the different boroughs of New York, and people were standing up. They didn't want more of the same. They weren't ready to do Cuomo repeat, and they spoke up.
And they ousted Eric Adams?
Yes.
I thought he was on top of the world. For a while he was, right?
For a minute, but not so much recently in their mind. And I think him, taking this, allowing Trump to use him the way he did, I think was terrible. And I think people—
You're talking about Eric Adams?
Yeah. I think people reacted to that.
They did.
Negatively, in some of the early interviews after Trump came in the office and was going to, free Adams from the corruption charges he was under, and Adams would just sit there with these Trump officials,
Quiet.
Yeah, and I think that
It
that
reduced him.
made
did.
a lot of people
But what's
angry.
amazing is Madani lived in a one-bedroom.
Yeah.
No political experience. I mean, limited, I won't say no, but I mean very young, limited political experience. No great following. But he had such a strong message, affordability, and he walked the streets.
I was going to say
that was amazing, and he built a real following, a real movement from that. You think we'll see more of that?
I think that's the if we're shifting toward that goal, yes, because it's also getting back to the media aspect of this, right? It's how many times do we hear that readers don't trust us, or they're, because again, it shouldn't take, like you say, Trump saying, fake news to like derail like the fourth estate as much, as it has, or, the strategy to weaken it in some way. But I feel like walking the streets, like you said, and like really people see what you're standing for and what you're talking with. I feel like they can connect with you as a human being, and they can relate to that, and that's what people vote for. That's what people attach to. But too often, right? Like we are born, or we follow either our mom and dad's kind of like voting or whatever.
Tradition.
Yeah, tradition, and then you don't really get to the heart of it, and so. At this point, if you need to disrupt, like you said, you need to like disrupt but connect to this, human being. And it's the same way I feel like with media, like you connect with the reporter because you follow them and you understand them and like maybe what they're fighting for or going for or writing about. So it's this trust and this humanity, that the connection. I think that's the shift that we're kind of seeing.
One of the things I read, and it really impressed me, and then I really started following him, is they were asking him, kind of like, well, what's your secret to success? What are you doing? What do you think you're doing right that no one else is doing? And his answer was, oh, I went to the black press.
Yeah.
Did you see that? And he says, and I went to the black church.
Yeah.
He had developed a real strong black following. I thought that was so bodacious and so interesting, but I mean, he was scared of nothing, and that he was fearless. Yeah. And I thought that was, I was very impressed with that.
He had to do that because I think the word on the street, and I don't know how accurate this was, but that, the black voters were loyal to Adams. So he had to go earn and win their support. And he did that not only with the black community, but other communities as well.
He took community by community by community, and he was even on the street walking with the peddlers and saying, so what's your small business like, and what should you do? And I mean, he really walked amongst the people.
He connected
that
with
always
people.
works. I mean, we've seen that. Harold Washington, he did the same thing. We've seen that.
There's no shortcuts, and I think we've been living in a world where, these long-term politicians, right, it's their career instead of just being of service, making an impact, getting out, making the moves for the next person to come in and disrupt the system, make a change. I think this is what needs to happen.
Well, one of the things I think that gives me hope, and you mentioned people like Danny Davis and Chuy Garcia, and well, back in the 80s, they were the ones starting out.
And they were walking the street too, weren't they?
And so they were doing that, and they were responsible for, Mayor Washington getting control. They were part of that coalition that helped him get control of City Council, and which. I don't think the mayor, the best mayor we've ever had, Mayor Washington, gets enough credit for changing how, Chicago works in many ways. I mean, we still got a long ways to go, but as far as neighborhoods and communities, many of us remember, like our alleys getting paved for the first time and things like that. Well, it was Danny Davis and Chuy Garcia were part of that movement.
Whether you're considering an electric vehicle at work or at home, the tools, resources, and rebates available at ComEd.com/EV make transitioning to an electric vehicle easier than ever before.
Uninsured people worry, not so much about getting hurt, but when is someone gonna ask for the insurance card that I don't have? That's why open enrollment at Get Covered Illinois is such an opportunity. 500,000 people across Illinois get health insurance through Get Covered Illinois. Most end up with a reduced premium. And that's why I do this. That's why I work for Get Covered Illinois.
At ComEd, we understand a little help can really make someone's day. That's why we provide financial assistance and billing options to help you pay and manage your electric bill.
It's not easy to get insurance. At Get Covered Illinois, we're here to help. It's one place where people can compare plans and prices and also get help with their premium. Get Covered Illinois, we're here to help.
Indigo Studio, Indigo Studio, Indigo Studio.
How do you think social media has played a part in politics? Because now you have traditional media, as we are, but you've got to pay attention to social media because that is where another whole message comes into being. Trump is doing, it's amazing to me how when something every day, they're showing Trump's social media on major news. This is how he is making announcements as opposed to holding press conferences. This is transformational. What do you think about that? Not only for the President of the United States, but what about the candidates? Because they can have totally different campaigns than the traditional campaign of the television ad.
I feel like the look on Darcel's face. I don't know.
She responded,
Yeah,
didn't
she made a look.
Your
That's
body
how I
language was like,
feel. Yeah.
No, well, I want to say again, you can't avoid something because you don't understand it. And I feel like for whatever reason, and Trump, again, is the exception, or maybe has a fantastic social media team, and he's just like the cherry on the sundae. But you just have to go with that trend and really study it, learn it. You know, can't just say like, I'll just, hire somebody and like, when I think about it, put it out there. Now that should be like the first way to go. Now I hate the fact that, like you say, that should not be how you're making announcements. That should not be how you're doing any kind of press conference. But again, you see how he treats the media anyway. So it's, I feel like if this is the only avenue in which we can combat or like make sure we're at the front and talking about this, then you definitely need to be on your game. And like, that's, just like, again, technology should be first, digital first. I mean, we as, the traditional journalists, right? We had to learn that.
If you could change one thing in the way we cover, in our coverage, what would that one thing be?
Well, media literacy, that'd be like the first thing. I would think we would like get media literacy in as soon as humanly possible. I mean, the babies, like
In the schools,
like 4th and 5th grade, because now, I mean, I was just hanging out with my niece who's 10 and she's basically saying like, oh, well, it's on the internet and must be true. And I'm just like, no, there's like, let me talk about primary sources. Let's talk about this for a second. And then, at 10, like, if it's not like a video game or like something to that effect, it's like, oh, I'm going to sleep.
I think we're moving in this direction, but I think we need to continue to do a better job of what we were talking about, what we were expecting of politicians like Mamdani to get to the primary source of people too. So actually getting out into the neighborhoods more and more and more. And I think we're starting to do more of that with, I think Block Club is doing that, where they actually are centering themselves. And I think that's locally the Sun-Times and Tribune are doing more of that as well. It reminds me of how shocked people were when Washington won, and someone said, because you weren't out there in the neighborhoods
how
talking to
major
people.
Media was
thank
shocked.
Thank you.
If, again, more people kind of come to the forefront and want to disrupt the situation. Because I mean, this election, I felt like that was the shift. That was what was going in different states. But I would just also like more resources, and just more trust in the fact that, again, traditional journalism, even small outfits, are here to be of service. We are not the enemy. That's the main point, and just trust in that.
There's still, unfortunately, a lot of mess out there that is not accurate or doesn't reflect what's going on. And frankly, that's what Trump is living off of.
He's the master,
you know,
of it.
right?
He has absolutely mastered it, whether
Yeah.
we like it or not.
Yeah.
He has absolutely turned it upside down.
You know, just recently he's on, say, prices are down, prices, and they let him say this
it.
over and over again. A lot of people were upset about the recent 60 Minutes interview because they have kind of stopped fact checking him. And remember not too long ago when fact checking in real time was becoming a deal, and I think we've backed away from that. So these Trump and his people are just saying anything again, and we're letting it go.
But what I keep waiting for is a reporter to say, Trump, that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
I went to the store yesterday and eggs are not down and gas is not down and this is not down. I think some of the reporters have become very docile. I don't know if they're intimidated, if they're scared. I'll lose my job if I say this, but a real reporter.
Yeah.
I mean, could you see Trump talking to Walter Cronkite? Could you see Trump talking to Dan Rather? It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that kind of reporter to come through forcefully, and very honestly, I don't think. And then because Trump's insulting, that's a dumb question.
Yeah.
Why would you ask me that dumb question? And I'm waiting for a reporter to say, well, why don't you give me a dumb answer since it's such a
Yeah. You see little flickers of it.
I should be in the White House press corps, right?
Yeah. Well, someone who would do that, and she, paid the price for it, for getting that, but she stood up, was Yamiche Alcindor, who had to put up, she put up with a lot of stuff with him, but she kept on.
She jammed him. Curtis Lawrence, thank you very much for talking to us today about journalism and politics and our world. And Darcel Tribune, thank you very much for being with us. And we watch the world turn. We make history every single day. And every article that we write, we're given a perspective on it as to how they'll look back at it and how it reflects on our world that we live in.
Thank you for making sure that the story gets told.
Absolutely. Thank you for keeping the narrative strong. That's what it's about.
Thank you. Well, we've had a couple of right headlines in our day. we saw Barack coming and the Tribune was like, what are you talking about? Okay, I got it right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Another wonderful episode of NDIGO Studio. Thank you.
NDIGO Studio.